Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, a World Alternative Media here, live, and I'm back in Las Vegas, as you might have noticed from some of my recent videos. I'm getting to work in studio over the next little while to get as much big, hard-hitting documentary-style reports done, which I haven't been able to do as much of this year as I was last year because it's been basically on the road for most of the year. I've been going from here to Canada, throughout the United States, and as well as in Europe and in Turkey and in Africa and in Asia. It's been crazy, and a big thanks to our donor Fred Kost, who sent me out to Turkey with him recently, where I met up with also nomadic journalist Josh Friedman, and we traveled across Turkey, which was definitely quite awesome. We were able to see a lot of southern Turkey before the recent madness kicked up. And of course, it's a media spectacle. It's debatable how much the madness is really going on because obviously the media is also showing footage of, gun range, shooting ranges in Kentucky, and saying that that is examples of bombing in Syria. So it's all very debatable. But I was just there, and I can only say from what I saw personally, Kurdish people and the Turkish people on the ground are friendly with each other. This is a issue of government versus faction versus government, as Josh Friedman recently went into here at WAM. So it's crazy. Anyway, we see some people tuning in. Now we have Terminator 800 Fate says, "You're awesome, Josh." Well, thank you very much. You're awesome. Thank you for watching. AB says, "Hello, Senior. Had to steal first like." Well, make sure to keep pressing like, everyone. Press like on this video and help us actually get picked up in the algorithm, because obviously, as I've mentioned so many times, it's been difficult lately on YouTube. But we are taking the appropriate measures to ensure that we are here. Well, not maybe not on YouTube, but definitely around on other platforms far into the future. So make sure to join us on float.app. That's flote.app. I'll put it in the messenger there, float.app. All right. So let's get down to business here. Paul Brown says, "Peace, Josh, and the conscious, and to the conscious minds." Yeah, peace be with you as well. Send in your questions. We'll take questions today. I'm warming up here because I've been waking up really early recently, and I got an interview with G. Edward Griffin very shortly. So I figured it would be good to kind of get in the kick of things before I get down to the more professional video type work that I'm going to be doing later today, and I might get some more interviews done. I don't know. I think I want to kind of get an interview done with Kingsley Edwards of Float, who doesn't live far from me, and of course Float.app is my choice in the top of my choices, my list of choices as far as new social medias go. They're pretty amazing. I'll get into that more later, but with the hashtag delete Facebook going on Twitter, it's one of the top trends. It's a good timing to talk to people about why they should join float.app. But anyway, Anya May says, "Hello, lol at the gun range footage is so ridiculous. Good riddance." Yeah, well, I mean, it's so crazy. Like, these mainstream medias act as if they're like a moral high ground to everyone else, and they can talk down to everyone like school marms, and then they share fake footage, but then they lead the crusade against fake news. It's hilarious. My dad's watching with John. All right, good to see you guys tune in. Derek Brown says, "Thanks for sharing, Josh." NAC Design says, "Keep up your good work, Josh." Thank you very much. Make sure to send in your questions and press like if you haven't already below, because it helps out a lot. And we're trying to pick up the pace a bit here on YouTube as of recently. Now that I'm back in Las Vegas, I'm able to actually get studio work done, and a lot of it I'm going to be just working nonstop 24/7. I wanted to get a video up today, but there were technical issues. Anyway, long story. So I figured I'd do a live stream, and I'll be interviewing G. Edward Griffin after this, and maybe I'll get a video done with John Snyson, and maybe I'll get a video done with Kingsley Edwards later. I don't know. I got to call him. Maybe he's watching. I don't know. Doopy New or Doopy No, nice name, by the way, says, "Josh, you're a Canadian, don't you know?" Yeah. I try to cover up my Canadian accent as much as I can, though. Anyway, it's cold in Canada. It's not as cold in Las Vegas. Serious Lee says, G. Edward is awesome. He has a great explanation of why the world government is so harmful. You may like to ask him about it. Oh, Ed is a good friend of mine. I've interviewed him probably 70 something times. See him all the time. We are going. I've been to his house actually. We're going to Mesquite, Nevada, on November 7th or 8th or something like that. For another Red Pill Expo, which is happening on over there with people like Dr. Tim Ball and Del Bigtree, and Eamon Bundy is going to be there. So I hope to catch up with him because I've never actually been able to interview him, so that'll be cool. And Bix Weir is going to be there. Many interesting people are going to be there. Paul Brown says, press that like button. It is free to do so, all in the chat. I agree. It's totally free as long as you have a channel. Press like. And join us on float.app because we have to go somewhere and we're going to be gone from YouTube soon. So if you go to float.app, flote.app, then you will be able to keep up with us as we get taken down from YouTube. A big important part of this whole thing is that getting people to move over to the other platforms where we're going to be, because I mean, if people aren't willing to spend 2 seconds signing up for another social media where to ensure that they're able to see our footage, our videos, our documentaries, our confrontations, etc., then what's the world coming to? It's pretty easy. Baba Yaga News Update, nice name again. It says, hit the like button, people. I agree. But seriously says, oops, major typo. Why the word government is so harmful? Oh, yeah. I was going to say, yeah, world government is so harmful. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's gone over that many times. Yeah, it should be, I'll go into many things with him. I've interviewed him about voluntarism many times, and he's did a whole speech at our recent event in Las Vegas, Anarcho Vegas, on kind of that, and the definition of government and governing and etc. Let's see. We got Velvet Thunder says, hey Josh, I'm stuck for questions at the moment. I'll be donating to fund me. I'm doing it monthly. You're the only channel I watch that deserves it. Shadow banning is real. Pressing like now. Thank you, Velvet Thunder. I always appreciate your help. It means a lot to us. And yeah, it's definitely getting worse and worse here on YouTube all the time. I'm trying so much not to complain about it as much lately because people have been giving me a hard time, but it's just like I'm trying to get people riled up to join us on other platforms or help independent media, because the onus is on me. It's my responsibility to fix this problem long term, right? But with that said, at the moment, the solutions haven't completely come forward, so the solution basically is the viewer to donate, GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar, etc. And super chats, by the way, if you send a super chat in the chat below, that makes a huge difference as well, and it gets your question to the top if more than 45 people out of 134,000 people are allowed to see this video. Anyway, Anubis the Red says, I love all your ruin videos and how you think everything is a government conspiracy. Thanks, bro. I don't think everything is a government conspiracy. I just think the government is a monolithic evil beast of organized crime. I mean, it's not that I think everything is a government conspiracy. It's that I think the government is a terrible, murderous entity that hurts everything more than it helps, and usually creates the problems it comes in to try and help solve, and enslaves people further into servitude to this massive collective beast called the state. Let's see. Baba Yaga News Update says, thanks for bringing awareness. Happy to do it. Doopy No says, I smashed the like button. Is it Doopy No or Doopy New? I don't even know. That's a weird name, man. But I appreciate the like. Make sure to press like if you haven't already. J-Man says, any truth on the internet will be shadow banned eventually. Exactly. And obviously I'd be doing something wrong if I wasn't shadow banned. The problem is it's incredibly difficult to do my work when I have no money. So to do it 24/7, I work 18 hours a day at this, and people don't realize that 99% of the work is not even in the videos. It's me just editing and marketing and writing and researching and all that kind of stuff, and reading books and all that kind of stuff. It's extensive work, and it doesn't pay. The only part that could pay is people donating and helping and pledging and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, Hey Shaded says, yeah, you need to keep complaining. People need to realize YouTube has been over for years. I agree, but that's where everyone tunes out if I go too much on about it. We need to talk about other things as well. There's so many issues in the world, and that's one of the things. It's financial terrorism because it's using ideology and using fear to enforce that ideology. So by definition, it's monetary terrorism because what they're doing is they're taking the money away from WAM and hoping that we're scared into submission so that we don't talk about things anymore, and that's self-censorship. So it's really important that people help out so that we don't well, first of all, I'm never going to shut up, but I mean, I've had to be careful about certain things I've said in recent years, and I have to think about my title for like 45 minutes before I post a video to try and get the right title so YouTube doesn't immediately demonetize it. It's sad, but it's the only way I can make money, so it's like I got to do what I got to do. But with that said, that's why I want to start posting a lot more on BitChute as well as Subscribestar, where there's subscriber-only content, where I'll be posting a lot there in the near future. $5 or more a month gets you the subscriber-only content. We're working on that right now, and I got so much footage. I got just a pile of footage from Italy, and I think Italy, and I think there's some from Greece, and also from. Well, a lot from around the Vatican, and I got footage, a whole bunch of footage from Turkey still. I got documentaries I got to do, essentially, on Göbekli Tepe and Darren Kuyu. I've been working on the Darren Kuyu video hardcore lately, and it's really extensive. It's really extensive to get done because it's like a really... we spent like so many hours climbing around Darren Kuyu, the underground city in Turkey, so... to put that all together into a video, as well as the fact that it's so much of the footage is so dark, it's almost unusable. I just had to... I've been working really hard at that lately. Anyway. Let's see. We got more questions coming in. Boogie Pete Photography says the government is just that. AB says, I concur. I'm guessing you're talking about the government. Yes. Good to see people agreeing that government is slavery. Marie, some people, Anubis, are asleep. I don't know. I don't think he meant that as negative, but just bad wording, I think. But anyway... A lot of Escoto says Freemasons. Yeah, but that's just a part of a greater issue. I don't think Freemasons run the world. I think that they might be part of one of the many organizations that run a lot of civilization today. And I mean, like, also the symbolism regarding Freemasonry is pretty extensive. That goes back to the ancient civilization stuff I do. Anya May says, just researching for one specific topic alone is a lot of work. Yeah, it's crazy, and you could always miss something, so you have to be really vigilant on always being able to find new articles that you won't find on a regular Google search, and find books that you won't find that information on the internet. Graham Hancock's a great example. He talks about so much information that you literally can't find anything of on the internet. It's only in his books, so that's why it's so important to read his books. Velvet Thunder says, yeah, what do you think of Freemasons and sacred geometry? Well, it's definitely a real thing. It's definitely really extensive, and I definitely think that it's a huge problem. I've met a lot of Freemasons. There's Porch Masons that don't actually have anything, they don't actually, aren't really involved in a lot of this crazy stuff. You can't blame all of them, but though the ritualistic stuff is really strange. But you get into the information they hold. There's a lot of evidence that they hold information from the burnt down Library of Alexandria on ancient Egypt. Talking with Freemasons on Egypt is pretty interesting, and I've done it many times. And I put all my beliefs behind me and just started asking questions, and you find out a lot of stuff. And of course, I've met some 33rd degrees that have given me some interesting information in the past. So definitely. They're worth talking to. They shouldn't be just confronted. You should just talk with these people, because if you don't know what they're doing, then you don't know. So, I mean, it's better to err on the side of caution and ask questions rather than assume that you know everything that goes on in those buildings. Marie says, Gerald Salente says we're about to go into a deep global depression. Yeah, well, and he's been right about saying that for a long time, and I think that... it goes without saying, it's basic economics. When we have a system that is so built up on debt and so built up on printing, and it's all fake, and they pump this fake printed currency into the stock market, etc., then you're going to have a problem, and it's going to end with a massive depression. I think this is going to be a global depression unlike anything we've ever seen in history, And that is why I've been talking about it for so long. And people say, well, again, you've been talking about it for so long. When is it going to happen? Well, it's not about when it's going to happen. It's the fact that it's going to happen, and people should be prepared for that. I don't understand why so many people can't comprehend that. But anyway, Hey Shaded says, yes, there are so many organizations. Agreed. Lotta Escoto says, in conjunction with black nobility and the Illuminati. And so Illuminati was just a name that came out hundreds of years ago. The whole idea was that they would split into factions with different names all the time so that they couldn't be traced. So they wouldn't be called the Illuminati anymore by their own word. Hey Shaded says, well, imagine being a Mason and not understanding. Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of those. You see them driving broken down Priuses with the Mason logos on the back. They're not all powerful. And if everyone knew what was going on, there'd be a lot more information out there, and it would have been spread a lot faster. Let's see. Adam says, Digibyte. Yeah, I think I have Digibyte in the description here. Let's see. Oh, I don't. Oh, that sucks. I thought I did. Yeah, I do take Digibyte, but it's in all my STEEMIT articles at the end. As far as donations go, I just can't overclog things with with all the cryptos that I could take, because it'll get cluttered and people get annoyed. Mooney Muso, not free and accepted masonry. Mason means mother, son. The science is ancient, not the club organization. No, not the club itself. But yeah, it's about sacred knowledge that goes back thousands of years. A lot of it. Adam says, how do you feel about Digi assets released on the Digibyte blockchain? Well, I think it's great to see so many people trying to develop their ideas, their cryptographic ideas, into greater solutions for world problems. And that is something that I find really important, is that in the bear market, so many people are working on creating the best things. In the bull market, everyone was just focused on money for the most part. And I think most people were guilty of that, honestly. So I'm just glad to see that, there's a lot of development being done. And I think it's only a matter of time before that all explodes. But there's a lot of manipulation in the market too, I think, and it's been held down dramatically, like gold and silver has for so many years. Let's see, J-Man Murray, yeah, it will be scary when that happens. Velvet Thunder says, thanks for the answer, Josh. You've got a vast knowledge. Well, I got a tired knowledge right now, because I've been waking up so early lately. It's been crazy, because ever since I got back from Turkey, I just started getting on the schedule between 4:30 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. And it's just every morning. I know a lot of you guys are used to that. A lot of people wake up early, work and everything. But, I mean, I have my 18 hours, but it doesn't matter what time period that is unless I have an interview. So I have those 18 hours that can move freely between the middle of the night and the early morning, whatever. But I've been just waking up super early lately, and it's been killing me. But mostly because I'm tired by the time everyone else is waking up, and I'm already like worn out, and I'm supposed to do interviews. But that's why I'm actually trying to wake myself up by doing this video right now, so that I can properly focus on my G. Edward Griffin interview that I'm doing shortly after this live stream. By the way, if you haven't already, make sure to press like on this video. It helps a lot. J-Man says, the elites have been preparing for the global collapse. Absolutely. Marie says, how should we prepare for a depression? Seems like whatever we do, it won't be enough. No, I actually think I'm very optimistic about this. If you know that the depression's coming, then you get as much of your value out of fiat as possible outside of what you need in the meantime. So, and this is my opinion, this isn't investment advice, but I mean, I'm just looking at things like gold and silver and cryptocurrencies as well, and diversification of wealth, and there's many things that you could get into. Also be useful and be sustainable and be responsible, and again, it's bigger than money. It's also the value that you as an individual put forward. So, I mean, like for yourself and for others, your family as well. So, food, water, shelter. I've said that a million times in my videos. People get mad because I repeat myself, but I have to, because every video a new person that hasn't seen my videos is seeing it. So I have to say, food, water, shelter, self-defense. You're not gathering things for the toughest guy in the block. And of course, then gold, silver, and cryptocurrencies, etc. Cash flow is important as well, but the real estate market is incredibly bubbled. So worldwide, so I wouldn't be too entrenched in that. But there's many things that you can do, and I think that people will just move over to another currency that's most easy to use or utilize when it comes down to it. So I honestly think that there's less to worry about than we think. I think the problem lies on the shoulders of those who aren't prepared at all and don't know it's coming. No matter how many times I've screamed to the public, this is going to happen, people don't listen. And people always say I'm fear-mongering. And it's like, no, I'm giving people solutions. I'm trying to make it so people have solutions. If I was fear-mongering, I'd say you're all doomed, we're all going to die. No, I'm saying we have these problems and we should understand these problems so we can apply the right solutions, because this is just basic economics. Anyway, Seriously says there doesn't necessarily need to be a huge crash with all these new technologies coming out. Well, yeah, I mean, there's going to be a huge crash, technically speaking, but with all these new technologies, people can shift over as individuals, and governments will probably try doing that, but they're going to go in the wrong direction because they're always inefficient. And then there's also a lot of the rich elite are already piling into gold, silver, and crypto as well, because they know what's going to happen, and they want to save themselves before they get ripped to shreds. T-Cash says, we're already in a depression. My dad had a house at 22 making 15 ounces of gold a week. Now I can't even stack an ounce a week. Lol, inflation. Yeah, well, inflation and scarcity, subjectivity of value involving gold and silver, but also we've been in a recession or depression. It kind of gets semantic after a while, debatably, but we've been in a recession since 2008 for sure, papered over with fake money, fake debt. Well, actually, the debt isn't fake, but carries over to the populace, and then people end up paying off the interest on the debt, which is a huge problem. By the way, I wanted to mention, I saw this the other day, or yesterday, I was on YouTube, and I saw this guy named Frank26, and now Frank26 has a channel that has less than 7,000 subscribers, and I noticed that every single one of his live streams has about 1,500 to 1,000 or 2,000 people watching every show, and his videos always get 20 to 80,000 views, but he has like less than 7,000 subscribers, and I couldn't understand it. I looked, and these people weren't bots. They're answering all of his questions directly. And I'm just thinking, we got 54 people watching out of 134,000 people right now. Talk about shadow banning when I have 134,000 subscribers and we have 54 people watching, while this guy, Frank26, has like less than 7,000 subscribers, and good for him, but he gets over 1,000 people watching every show, and I see that so much on channels that have like 5 to 20,000 subscribers. They get like 20 times to 100 times in some cases more viewers on a live stream than I do on this, and half the time it's just their title is just like live or something like that. It's absurd. So I don't know, it says a lot about where we are on YouTube today. It's really frustrating. ASMR, you kidding me, says Josh, what are you going to do with your money after the crash? Gold, silver, crypto, any good ideas? Well, I kind of explained it. I would say that those would be the best ideas. You're not going to be able to do international transactions easily by shaving off slivers of gold, and most point of sales kind of situations you're going to be using crypto. So, I mean, just realistically, because it's more convenient, and people always go for the more convenient idea. So, I mean, that's just naturally how the things work in the world, and tyranny comes under the guise of convenience, so we have to provide great opportunities and great ideas and decentralized ideas that aren't controlled by a centralized entity by utilizing convenience as well. It's just naturally how it's going to go. We either get on board or we miss the boat, or we, don't make the right decisions and we lose money. So while I'm talking about crypto, I cannot go without mentioning, here is my Bitcoin address for anyone that might be interested in tipping us in Bitcoin, as we are very shadow banned on YouTube here. And pressing like helps a lot too, but also just here's our Bitcoin address for tips. We really appreciate anything you can help us out with. That's our QR code. You could scan it. We also have our addresses, including other cryptos, in the description, which helps a lot, as well as Patreon, Subscribestar, GoFundMe, all those things, and super chats mean a great deal to us too. So I have 61 people watching right now. If one person just sent $1, that means a lot. $1, $2, anything you could do, we really appreciate it, guys. It keeps us alive and keeps us posting videos on a daily basis, sometimes 2 to 5 videos on a daily basis that are documentary style in many cases, and dig into the information we are not being told by the mainstream media. which is, I believe, very important. I believe that it's incredibly important now more than ever to be talking about this, as we are up against a brick wall with the information war as we're getting shadow banned on YouTube. And it comes down to the viewer to actually save us and solve this problem. Patreon pledges mean a great deal. Subscribestar, where we post subscriber-only content, those Bitcoin donations or tips, GoFundMe, all of those things, and those super chats. Again, we're on YouTube. You can send $2 if you want. It makes a great deal. It means a great deal to us. So anyway, that's all it takes, guys. $1 a month in pledges from everyone would change the game, and we wouldn't have to worry about any of these problems anymore, and I wouldn't even have to talk about it. Anyway, let's see. We have more comments coming in. I'm trying to get to as many as possible, but we're seeing a lot of them come in. So, Stephen Reyes says, "Hi Josh, keep it up, man. Real news will win. For me, altcoins will come back. Way there will be, like in 2017, persons that will throw all their fiat into little cap coins because they have no knowledge." Yeah, well, there's a lot of that. Most of the crypto market is nonsense, and then a bit of it is really good, and people make the mistake of conflating, thinking all crypto means all crypto. Like, they get into crypto and they think, oh, I'm just going to invest in Dentacoin. It's like, why? What value is there in a token for dentists? And most dentists have never heard of it. It's like, there's a lot of that. There's bubbles, and bubbles are good for us in the end. It's what's created things like Amazon and Google and etc. Except for we need to create decentralized solutions. But anyway, let's see. Seriously says, you're one of the most rational ones, but there is a lot of fear. I can't say the word PORN on YouTube because of demonetization and AI, but out there, yes, there is, and that goes for independent media and mainstream media, because fear sells, and we have to dodge that at all costs and break free from that. And that's why I try to give solutions to the problems that we should fear, but we shouldn't fear and go into submission. We should fear and take the right, make the right moves, which save us from those problems. And that's incredibly important. And that solves a problem, right? It's individuals solving their own problems rather than looking to government and banks, etc., to save them from themselves and the problems that the government and the banks create in the first place. Anyway, make sure to press like if you haven't already. Let's see what we got here. We got 54 people watching out of 134,000 people. Make sure to share this video if you haven't already. Helps a lot. Velvet Thunder says, we should all watch that channel that teaches how to make houses out of mud and primitive tools. We may need to know soon. Yeah, well, I did a CAD course in college, which helps me with the structural side of engineering, but I don't know if I'd be able to build a house all by myself. I don't think I would, at least not a sturdy one. One that the building inspectors certainly wouldn't approve of. Let's see. Seriously says, Josh is one of the hardest working journalists I know of. I appreciate that. I think so too. But, we have to fight for the support of the masses, and I just got to keep providing good content, and I have hope that people will start pledging a bit more, because, out of all the viewers, I mean, look at this, 54 people out of 134,000 people watching. Out of all the viewers, we need to, it's on me to provide really good content, because obviously the people have spoken and not a whole lot want to donate or pledge or, help out. And it's sad, but I got to keep working hard to win the approval of the masses, I suppose you could say. But anyway, let's see. Seriously says, bravery is feeling fear and doing it anyway. Yeah, well, I gave up paranoia a long time ago. That's really important. Paranoia had kept me from doing so many things, and I often say that fear is important. It's an important natural instinct that keeps you from running into traffic and dying. It keeps you alive, but at the same time, fear also keeps you from living. It keeps you from taking those jumps and those strides towards things that you feel like you should get behind, different things that you should do in your life. You're going to regret doing nothing when you had the chance. When you die, you're not going to regret doing amazing things that you might have taken a risk on. You have to take those risks. It's important. Paolo Bonandine says, sent you beer and Bitcoin. See you at Anarchapulco 2020. Thank you, Paolo. I really appreciate that. Thanks for the help. And yes, I'm looking forward to it. Again, for those that are interested, Anarchapulco 2020, you could use promo code WAM, WAM. It's our affiliate code, and you can save about 10% on your tickets to Anarchapulco. And it helps me, it helps you, and it brings you to one of the coolest events in the world. So make sure to sign up for Anarchapulco 2020. I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys in Acapulco, Mexico in February. It's going to be amazing. And for those into ancient civilizations, Brian Forrester is going to be speaking there. And for those into economics, there's a Dollar Vigilante Summit. And those into politics or apolitical kind of stuff, like anti-anarchist stuff, well, it's Anarchapulco, so there's a lot of that. And there's a whole bunch of stuff, hidden knowledge, etc. Meditation, veganism, if you're interested in that kind of stuff. I mean, there's a million different things. Rainy Steps sent 279 Canadian. Thank you, Rainy Steps. I appreciate that. That means a lot to us. Again, those super chats go a long way, and it helps us stay alive here at WHAM and allows us to bring you videos on a daily basis, sometimes twice a day, sometimes as much as 5 times a day. The people don't seem to like that, and the algorithm doesn't seem to be a big fan of that. But anyway, helps a lot. So again, that puts feet on the ground as well in a lot of these places that we go to, and it helps us work 18 hours a day bringing you videos. So why not send a $2, $3? That makes a huge difference, guys. I mean, that's all it takes. $1 pledge a month on Patreon. That's all it takes. What can I do? I've said it. I've screamed it to the wind for a long time, and 99.95% of people aren't willing to do it, so it is what it is, but I still got to mention it. Velvet Thunder says, what's your point of view on Stephen Avery and Making a Murderer? Well, I've seen the show. My point of view is that I don't know, but it seems like he was innocent. But it's been like a year and a half since I watched that show, and I haven't seen the second part on it. I think they did a second series on it or something. I've only seen the first series. But, yeah, he seems innocent, but it sounds about right. The political system using a mentally ill guy to be able to close a case that they're spending a bunch of money on so they can spend that money instead on bureaucracy. Sounds about right to me. That's the cops for you. Let's see. Velvet Thunder says, nice. Just asking because the judge just filed her brief. Yeah, I haven't seen that, and I haven't gone into that at all, actually, on Wham. But, anyway. Yeah, I don't know. BC Matrix says, Vegas, baby. Yeah, I don't feel that way as much after spending a lot of time in Vegas and having my place here in Vegas, my studio and everything. I never go to the Strip, really, unless I have to. I'm going to be going to the Strip to the Litecoin Summit with Ron Paul speaking in about 10 days, I think. And then there's World CryptoCon, and it's Vegas Blockchain Week. And then all that kind of stuff. But otherwise, I wouldn't usually be going to the Strip at all because it's this is the issue. So I fly into Las Vegas, and to me, I'm like, I'm going home. But to most people, they're going to have a party. So I get onto planes all the time coming into Las Vegas, and everyone's partying, and they're popping the champagne, they're screaming, and I'm trying to sleep, and I'm like, here we go, another flight. And they're just all having fun, and I'm going to Las Vegas to go home and go to sleep, usually. So, yeah, I mean, that's my take on it. If you lived in Vegas and had fun on the Strip, you'd probably end up dead. I mean, it's... I'm not even I'm in Summerlin in Las Vegas, which is a beautiful area that's very quaint and very sunny and happy and quiet and very low crime. It's considered one of the happiest places in the world. It's extraordinarily cheap. I've never seen a big city in the world have such cheap rent. And it's where O.J. Simpson lives, where Nicolas Cage lives, etc. I bumped into Pam Grier from Foxy Brown once at a grocery store in the middle of the night. I needed coffee, so I showed up at my nearby Albertson store here in Las Vegas, and I'm in the coffee aisle, and I look, and there's Pam Grier from Foxy Cleopatra, Foxy Brown, and then Jackie Brown as well in the 90s, in her pajamas, buying coffee as well. I'm like, are you Pam Grier? She's like, yeah. And she looked at me like, how do you know? Because I'm a little young to know who she is. But anyway, interesting stories like that. I bumped into Andrew Dice Clay and um, Floyd Mayweather, and we've seen Boys to Men walking down the street and stuff like that. I mean, nothing that I'm super excited about, but yeah. Boo Weekly, the golfer. I've seen a lot of people. It's interesting. You bumped into people. I forget all the people that I bumped into here, but there's been a lot of them. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I can't remember who else. Anyway, Brian Forrester says, any more Turkey videos coming up? A lot. I got so many videos coming up on Turkey. I did a video. I spent so many hours in Darren Kuyu climbing through tunnels, and so many of the videos are so dark that I can't really use them. And then I'm writing the whole history of Darren Kuyu, the official story, the questions involved, what I saw, mapping it all together. I'm doing timestamps of every video clip I got. That's hours and hours of footage. And I'm trying to put that all together into one big documentary style video on Darren Kuyu, but it's difficult, and some of the quality of the footage isn't as great because it's so dark in Darren Kuyu that no matter how good your camera is, it's really hard. I should have brought like 10 flashlights because one flashlight was not enough. But anyway, and I lightened up the footage and everything. I got lots coming up on that. I'm doing a documentary on Göbekli Tepe where I got footage at Göbekli Tepe, and the effort and work that's going to go into it is going to take forever, and I'm probably not going to be seen because I'm shadow banned. So I'm going to be working hard to get all that together and put together, and it's going to take a while. I also got videos on Brian says the lighting in Darren Kuyu is awful. Yes, it certainly is. I also got videos coming up on Gorem in Cappadocia, and I got videos on Haran coming up, and I have a housing bubble video on Turkey in general as well, and I forget what else. I've got videos. I got videos for my vlog channel, Josh Sigurdson, on YouTube as well, that I'm gonna post a whole bunch of stuff. I still got stuff from Italy that I gotta post together from the Vatican and stuff like that. So it's been a bit of a struggle getting it all together because I have to post videos every day as well on top of that. So did you go to Hattusa? That's one place I didn't go. I cut it out of my trip, and the reason being was of Karahan Tepe. I needed to, in the time I had, get to Karahan Tepe. So I ended up cutting out Hattusa, unfortunately. But honestly, it didn't look like the most exciting out of all the sites. So, and it was way further up north, out of the way for me anyway. And you said that you haven't been invited to Anarchapulco 2020. I thought you were. If you need me to connect you guys, you should be. I thought for sure you're speaking there, Brian. I'll send an email if you want to, if you want me to. That's weird. I don't know. Weird connection issues with some people, I guess. Before I get back to what else Brian is asking here, Non-Mirage Truth Vision sent $2. If I send you a Non-Mirage shirt, will you wear it? I'm happy to wear shirts. I like wearing shirts. Thank you very much. I appreciate the super chat. Send me an email at worldalternativemedia@gmail.com. Worldalternativemedia@gmail.com. Those super chats keep us alive, so that makes a huge difference. I really, really, really appreciate it. It's the only thing that keeps us going here on YouTube. So anyway, I appreciate the super chat. Brian, you're not on the speaker list. That's crazy. I thought you were for sure. I mean, that's what the emails with Graham Hancock were about. But anyway, we'll talk over email about that then for sure, and we'll try and work that out because you should be on that list. Non-Mirage Truth Vision says hitting the like button is also a cheap way to show your support. I agree, absolutely. I appreciate that. Thank you. So make sure to press the like button. But yeah, we are getting videos together from, like I did in all videos on. I didn't really do anything in Istanbul, but I did videos going through Ankara and down through Adana, where by the way, there's a roadside bomb went off when we were in Adana that blew up a police vehicle. And I believe that has stemmed into this recent story regarding Turkey and Syria and the Kurdish people. Anyway, I did a video with Josh Friedman on that as well. But we did videos on Darren Kuyu. We did videos on Göbekli Tepe. We did vlog videos throughout the place, just different things, including me getting stuck and stranded in the middle of the night, driving through southern Turkey, not knowing where I was, and finding myself at a cave. And I accidentally drove on top of the roof of the hotel because Google Maps sent us the wrong way. Long story, very strange. And that was in Cappadocia. And then we did videos on Huron. We did videos on, I did something out of the San Lurfa Museum, which I think I'm going to incorporate into the Göbekli Tepe documentary. Very interesting stuff in that museum. And then also I did videos on Karahan Tepe, which is up on YouTube, which is actually starting to take off a little bit. So, I mean, if you haven't seen the Karahan Tepe video yet, make sure to check that out. Also, we did videos on Mount Nemrut, which I posted as well. That was more of a filler video, but it actually turned out pretty nice, and so I'm glad to see people enjoying that video. It wasn't as much megalithic as it was interesting. And then we did videos on, and by the way, there's spiders floating in the air everywhere at Mount Nemrut. Just spider webs going in my face every 10 seconds. Little note that I didn't mention in my videos. But also, I think I did something else. I did something on Gorem in Cappadocia. I stayed the night there, and I'm like, I might as well do something. So I did a video on the history of it, because it seems to also incorporate into the Derinkuyu underground city thing, and I think it's much older than people claim. So I thought it was important to kind of break that down a bit. And kind of explain that in a video, which is a shorter video, which I could technically incorporate into the Derinkuyu video, which I might a bit, but I'm going to have a separate report on Gorem in Cappadocia in Turkey. Otherwise, I spent the last day and a half in Istanbul trying to figure out Istanbul on the European side of it anyway, and it's an interesting city. It's very big. Let's see. Velvet Thunder says, "Hey Brian, big fan of Hattusa, Hattusa is a great site, probably related to ancient Troy." Possibly. I've thought of that a few times. Like, there's a lot of sites around there that I believe to be connected, and also, I mean, Jericho and the Tower of Jericho, which is dated to be somewhere around 12,000 years old, that not a lot of people talk about, as well as there's towers in northern Syria that were recently found as well, right by the Turkish border, unfortunately. I think there are like 3 to 6 towers. I can't remember, but they're big towers, and they go back to around 10,000 BC. So a lot of people don't talk about that, and I think it should be spoken of. I got videos coming up on that. I think I got to work on that. I also got videos coming up on... I wanted to go to Troy so badly, but I just didn't have time, so I'll have to go back if Erdogan will have me. And then I did I did videos on the Vatican again in Italy. I did videos, 2 videos on the Vatican, one on a news story, one on the weird examples about regarding ancient civilizations throughout their exhibits in the museum, which is very strange, and the giant pine cone and the Egyptian statues and the mixture of Zeus and Thoth together. There's a lot of symbolism, very strange stuff. And I also got videos that I want to get done on Atlantis. I'm going to do a new video on the reshot structure soon. And I do want to go back to Mauritania, and I will, but right now I'm going to do a video. I'm working on a video on doing the research regarding Atlantis, and as well as the Edfu building text, which I find very important to the story of Atlantis that a lot of people don't talk about, because the Egyptians talked about Atlantis. They just didn't call it Atlantis. But anyway, concentric rings, all that kind of stuff. But I got a lot of videos I want to do in the near future, and I've been just building up tons of information. I got a ridiculous amount of notes on my phone lately, and it's actually... I don't even know. It's just so much work, and there's so much I got to do, but I have to also post videos on a daily basis. So it's kind of torture, because I'm trying to get these things done, but I'm having a hard time prioritizing. Let's see. We got the new Atlantis notes. Okay, there's that. Göbekli Tepe notes. I got Derinkuyu notes. Every time I go on an airplane, I just read books, and I take notes out of the books. And I incorporate it into my videos, so it's less research I'm going to have to end up doing later at home when I have to be doing videos. I can't do videos anyway when I'm on the airplane, so might as well get that kind of work done. Velvet Thunder says, forgot about Jericho. Yeah, I mean, I see a few comments here. I don't know if Brian's still watching, but I appreciate you joining us, Brian. As always, keep up the great work. Love your work. Everyone should check out Brian Forster, BrienFoerster on YouTube. Amazing videos. Let's see. Fritz Streenhammer says, Did you look into the black nobility? It's the people above the Rothschild who descend directly from the last Roman emperor. I know of it. I haven't done enough research to go into depth into any of that, though. Stephen Cohn says, "Hey Josh, what do you think is going to happen with the different markets, Bitcoin, gold, silver, oil, stocks, derivatives, as the Fed and central banks print us into hyperinflation?" Well, I have to actually ask whether the hyperinflation itself is actually going to happen, because I think it's going to shut down so fast and the global monetary system is going to collapse so fast if the US dollar goes down, that I feel as though it's going to be such a quick move that people are just going to immediately move into these other currencies, and people are just going to ditch the dollar completely. And people that haven't are just going to be incredibly poor. And it's really sad. This is why I do what I do. But what's going to happen with all these assets and things like Bitcoin, gold, silver, oil, stocks, and derivatives? Oil, okay, so there's a different derivatives, I think, are going down. I mean, the exposure on derivatives is multi-quadrillion level worldwide. Oil, I think people are moving away from oil, but they're still going to use petroleum for a lot of things, including a lot of these electric vehicles, in creating them, of course. But I believe that the future is electric vehicles. I think that we are moving away. And honestly, you could be using water and hemp and all these kinds of things to power vehicles. Not only power them with hemp, you could build a vehicle out of it and power it off of hemp, and build the seats out of fake leather hemp, and like just all these things. So I think that's important to point out. I believe that we're going in that direction one way or another. The oil companies have tried hard enough for years to stop that from happening, propped up by the government, of course, to be able to come in as a solution later on with carbon taxes and all this craziness, like extorting people is going to stop weather. But also, with that said, there's also silver and gold have been heavily undervalued by vast manipulation by banks like Deutsche Bank, Scotiabank, BNP Paribas, all these other things. And as well as that, I mean, imagine once the banks go down, which are all bankrupt, by the way, imagine what's going to happen to something like gold and silver when they're held down like a beach ball underwater for so long. They're going to bounce up like crazy, and it's going to be insane to watch take place. Also, with Bitcoin, I think it's obvious. Bitcoin, maybe even not Bitcoin for the full run of it, but cryptocurrency and decentralized blockchain infrastructure technologies in general are going to replace the old guard. I mean, they have to, because they're convenient. And again, people go to the convenient. Doesn't mean that it's always right, but it's always the way that people will go. That's where the market goes, and the market is right, usually, regarding, I mean, well, it is. When it decides something, it decides something, and that's what people go with, and that's how revolutions or evolutions happen. And people are going to be using cryptocurrency for international transactions. And while gold and silver are great wealth insurances, they're not great for international transactions and quick transactions and shaving off slices of gold and silver on a scale to weigh in order to buy things. Yeah, you can coin gold and silver, of course, into certain things, but it's obviously, like crypto, going to be very volatile in a crash. And who's going to be creating them? There's going to be a centralized entity. They're going to be marking up the prices, etc. I just think that cryptocurrencies that are completely void of individuals controlling it, centralized authorities, that I think that those are going to be stepping up as a new alternative. Let's see. Shady's Gameplay says, "Hey Josh, tuning in from gaming channel because I'm uploading stuff." Gaming, you know, those people that are crying right now over Fortnite shutting down. I've just seen just tragic videos all over the internet. The number one videos right now are people going, "Oh no, Fortnite was ended." It's a video game, for those that are unaware. Not a great one, but kids seem to like it. Let's see. We got more comments. Lada Escoto says Black Nobility Eagle is everywhere. Namaraj Truth Vision says electric flight. Yeah, I was talking with my dad about that last night, actually, regarding electric flights. I think that's a very real thing in the near future. Needs to be updated. But Elon Musk is talking about cars that can go a million miles without having to recharge, which is huge. It's ridiculous. Right now, they get up to like 400 miles, I believe, with Tesla. Sirius Lee says Teslas are awesome, but are mobile spy mobiles. Yeah, well, that's where the market opens up to other vehicles, and there's already a ton of different competition to Tesla, and they'll have to meet these competitions eventually. Boogie Pete Photography says, "I need to research hemp fuel now." Yeah, definitely worth it. Hemp and cornstalk cellulose combined can make also plastics that are biodegradable and would replace the need for these plastics. So instead of carbon taxing and, even though government is the biggest polluter in the world, as well as banning straws, which is incredibly frustrating in most places I go, you can just have hemp-based plastics that biodegrade, and they're much more sustainable, and they're much easier to grow because hemp grows very fast as well. You can harvest twice a year in many cases, sometimes as much as 3 times a year, depending where you're growing and the environment. But it's just this is the thing. Government comes in and props up, Standard Oil and stuff like that in the early 20th century, props it up and insanely makes huge money off of it, takes huge tax revenue out of it, and at the same time then goes and bans hemp and bans cannabis and all these other things, bans the alternatives, stops people from developing their water cars in the 70s, and then comes in as a solution to pollution by saying we have this problem, fear. This is why you need government to save you from the problems the government created in the first place. It's sad. It's ridiculous. All these environmental concerns could be chalked up to government, and government isn't going to save you from it. Let's see. We got a $10 super chat from Stephen Cohn. Thank you very much. He says, well, thank you very much, Stephen. I really appreciate that. And again, those super chats go a long way here at WHAM and make it possible for us to survive as we're shadow banned to death. And we've lost 90% of our audience. Well, 80% of our audience since January, 90% of our revenue since January. So we have basically been killed by YouTube. So the only thing keeping us alive and allowing me to eat, and I'm very hungry right now, is your help, guys. So big shout out to all of you that are helping out with the super chats and the pledges, etc. Thumbs up on the video, press like on the video if you haven't already. That makes a huge difference as well, gets us into the algorithm. As you can see, we have 71 people watching out of 134,000 subscribers. So it says a lot right there. GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar, where we do subscriber-only content. All of those, just $1 a month or more makes a huge difference. So anything helps, really, guys. And we got our Bitcoin address below, as well as other cryptocurrencies that you can donate. So it makes a huge difference. So thank you so much for all of that. Shady's Gameplay says, Fortnite ending equals not a terrible thing. Yeah, a lot of people are going to be losing virginity. Let's see. We got Green Gem Man says, hemp and bamboo are the future. Save the trees. Yeah, I mean, exactly. You could grow hemp so fast. Same with bamboo compared to something like trees. You see these tree farms, and I've always wondered. I don't actually know the answer, but it's like, how long does it take for you to harvest? Like, do you just plant rows of trees? How much money could you possibly make off of a tree farm? I don't know. Anyway, Green Gem Man, okay, I read that comment. I'm really tired. I've been using this live stream in order to get myself pumped up for my interview with G. Edward Griffin, which I'm doing after this live stream. Holistic Vegan says, I've been saying this for years. Plant plastics for the win. Absolutely. You don't need government. The free market has answers. And the free market isn't big oil, because big oil has been propped up by the government. People say, well, they run the government. Yeah, well, they wouldn't exist to the extent they do without depending on the government to prop them up. So, I mean, who is it that they're depending on to keep them in power, or keep the power in their hands? It's the government. So without them, how could they own government? They wouldn't be able to. Exactly. And people would have developed these other ideas without these bans on all these other alternatives. So anyway. And it needs to be a slow incremental move out of those big oil companies, the petroleum industry, because we don't want to, like, the government would have us pull the rug out from underneath a lot of these people who have jobs, and it would ruin entire industries. But these forms of automation, etc., actually lead to more jobs than they kill. So over time, I think it'll actually lead to more jobs, more sustainability, and more options, career options out there, which is important. Half of the jobs, half the employment we see today could not exist. It could not have existed in like 1995, as studies have shown. Let's see. Holistic Vegan says, I was involved in the biodiesel movement about 15 years ago. The red tape and hassle from government was insane. Most of the producers have been shut down now. Yeah, exactly. It's absolutely crazy. Green Gem Man says, thank you, mate. Well, thank you. Make sure to press like if you haven't already, guys. Helps a lot. What's with this black line above my video? I just noticed that. There's like a black line. Let's see. In the studio here. It says this is good. Let's see. Did I fix it? Or did I just create another black line below me? Let's see. There's a delay on the actual video on YouTube. I'm not seeing exactly what you guys are seeing. Oh, I fixed it. All right, great. Okay, that was weird. Anyway, let's see. I appreciate all the super chats. Makes a big difference. Rainy Steps and Non-Mirage Truth Vision and Stephen Cohn. Always goes a long way. Make sure to press like if you haven't already. And again, we have a Bitcoin address that makes a huge difference. And I really appreciate anything you guys can do. These tips to Bitcoin make it possible for us to survive. And it's like a donation that just keeps on giving as Bitcoin goes up. Well, if it goes up, it's been a little slow lately. But hey, we can't complain. It's up 3 times since the beginning of the year. What more can you ask for from investment or wealth insurance of any kind? So anyway, that and Bitcoin and GoFundMe and Patreon and Subscribestar, where we post subscriber-only content. And obviously, we have a bunch of different crypto addresses in the description as well for other cryptos. Non-Mirage Truth Vision sent $2 in the super chat. Again, thank you very much. I really, really, really appreciate those super chats. They said, have you written any books? I've been writing a book. I'm over 1,000 pages in. It's just been on my shelf for a while. I'm doing a kind of a voluntarist manifesto type thing. And I've written a lot of chapters already. It's just so extensive, and I need to cut it down into multiple books. But the problem is I've just been busy working all the time. And then this documentary earlier this year with Mauritania took priority. And then all these other things are taking priority. And I'm going broke because YouTube demonetized us 90%. So now I have to work even harder, which I didn't think was possible to begin with. So anyway, that is the reason why I haven't actually gotten it out. I've just been working on this because if I just work on my book, I'll be homeless. So anyway, Holistic Vegan sent £2. Thank you. Love from the UK. She says, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Helps us out a lot, again. It makes a big difference to be able to get those super chats because it's the only real type of monetization we're really seeing here at WAM these days. It's been really difficult. It's been a difficult few years, or a few months, I should say, here at WAM. We go out to Mauritania, we lose all of our money, then people yell at me for not finding things that I didn't find, like I'm supposed to make up things and lie about it. And so I don't do that, and I got 30 hours of footage, and everyone yells at me for not getting the video out soon enough. Like within a day and a half of getting home, people are like, where's the documentary, you scam artist and fraud? And I'm like, this documentary is for free. I could sell it, but I'm giving it to people for free because I believe in sharing free information. And they start freaking out on me, so I try to rush the video up, and then everyone's like, it's too rushed and it's too long. And I'm like, well, I couldn't really do any better because I was forced within 3 days to edit the whole documentary. So I do that, and then I just get complaints and unsubscriptions, and then YouTube freezes our subscribers at 133 for months. And then, an awesome donor by the name of Fred Cost sent me out to Turkey with him, and we did a bunch of work throughout Turkey, but I haven't gotten most of those videos up yet. So anyway, it's just been tough because YouTube demonetized us at the same time, and it's just been a living hell trying to keep up. So the help on those super chats literally makes it possible for us to do this 18 hours a day. Otherwise, we'll go out of business and we will be gone from YouTube probably in the next 1.5 to 2 years for sure. We'll be taken down by YouTube. We'll be deleted. So also check us out on float.app. That's flote.app. Make sure to join me at Josh Sigurdson as well as at WAM on float.app. I'll put it again in the chat there, float.app, flote.app. Makes a huge difference to go to these alternatives as well. Let's see. Zach Willis says, have learned the same thing. When you put content out, it may not be perfect, but people would rather just sit there and complain. Yeah, and do nothing and just complain about the free content that is given to them, handed to them on their laps on a daily basis. It's very frustrating because I work really hard at it. But anyway, find us on the alternatives. Find us over there at float.app as well as BitChute. We are on BitChute at World Alternative Media, so make sure to subscribe there. I'm going to wait for new subscriptions on BitChute. I have 385 subscribers, which is really sad on BitChute. So I'm waiting for you guys to join me on BitChute. So I'm going to refresh in a few minutes and hope that some of you have joined. Here, I'll shift it over to this. Here's our BitChute. Waiting patiently for subscriptions on BitChute. Let's see, 385. Refresh, still 385. Make sure to join us. We need to go onto these alternatives or else we're in a lot of trouble. That's one of the biggest parts of these solutions. Going to refresh again. Anyone new? 385. Come on, join us. Subscribe on BitChute, guys. I'm waiting. Waiting for some subscriptions there. Open a new tab and join us on BitChute. We got to go to these alternatives. I hate to hassle people, but this is the only way. This is the only way. Or else everyone stays on YouTube till the death, and then we disappear, and no one knows where we went. This is the only way we keep people watching. So, still at 385. Refresh again. Still at 385. Come on, guys. I'm sitting here and waiting for subscriptions on BitChute, World Alternative Media. Still 385. Come on, guys. I'm waiting. This might be annoying to you, but I got to do it. I got to tell you guys. Go to BitChute. We need you guys on BitChute. We need you guys on these alternatives, or else we're done. That's the end of the story. 100%. We need it. Here, I'll put the link as well in the live chat. Oh, man. Back to this, and let's see. Anyone join us on BitChute yet? Still 385 subscribers. Come on, let's see. There's quite a few of you guys online. We need you guys on BitChute. 58 people online watching us right now, and we need you to subscribe on BitChute. Well, we got one new subscriber. There we go. One person out of 58 people. It's pretty good, statistically speaking, on YouTube these days. Still 386. Oh, well, what can I do? People don't want to subscribe on BitChute and go to the alternatives. What can I say? It's the way it is. Sad reality. Also, no one has followed us on Float since the beginning of this live stream. Here we are on Float. Follow us on Float. Follow us on Float. flote.app. I got to crack the whip here, guys. Come on. We got to get onto these alternatives or else we are in big trouble. I'll go and put this in the live chat again. Float.app, flote.app, and I'm at Josh Sigurdson as well as at WAM, WAM. All right, we got a super chat if I can scroll up here. Eric C. sent 10 pounds. Is that pounds or euros? I can't see it, so I think it's euros. 10 euros. Keep on the great work. Cheers from Barcelona. Definitely euros. Cheers from Barcelona, under siege by the bloody Spanish police. Yes, these things always seem to happen right as I leave places, because I was just in Barcelona. I love Barcelona. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. And there's been the airport has been kind of taken over right now. And again, this is another issue that I think is stemmed to the monetary system and government in general that we see all over the world. We see that in Italy right now, too. We see that in Greece right now. We see that in Germany. We see that in Paris. We see that in Hong Kong. We see that in Turkey. We see that everywhere you look. And it's an incredibly important lesson to be learned. It's that government and these crime syndicates of government and banks destroy mankind, destroy people's freedoms, and at the same time, they impoverish people and lead people to be distressed and rise up against them. Anyway, gracias for joining us, and thank you for the super chat. Makes a big difference. Anyway, I have been not doing my Spanish lessons much lately. I've been losing all the Spanish I learned. I was the top person in the world for Spanish on Duolingo on the leaderboard. And then I go like a month without studying Spanish. I can get by real easy with the basics, but not enough to make a big difference. I can't have a good conversation with someone in Spanish. Though I do find the way Spanish is spoken in Spain to be odd with the th sounds. Also, another interesting part about Spain that I wanted to do a thing on the street for, but the police there don't allow people to film in public with a tripod. I was going to just use a monopod, but whatever. It's one way to get around it. I wanted to ask people about Catalonia and the referendum in Barcelona recently. A lot of people insist on speaking Catalonian as well. It's very interesting. The differences between northern and southern Spain are quite large. And there's a lot of foreign influence as well, obviously, especially in southern Spain where you see, well, as well as Madrid and Barcelona, but in southern Spain you see a lot of the Arab influence as well from Africa, coming up from Morocco. Anyway, I love Spain. I honestly believe Spain is my favorite country in the world. I love Spain. I want to be there all the time, honestly. The problem is I couldn't do interviews and do things because everyone would be sleeping when I need to do interviews and do videos and that kind of stuff, so it would severely hurt me in the wallet. But if things worked out, I would love to live in Malaga. I would love to live in Spain. Just an amazing place. My dad says, Eric C. supports Wham. Be like Eric C. I appreciate all the super chats, guys. Means a great deal. Let me go to BitChute and check this again. As I said, well, actually, I'm going to go to Float first. Did people follow me on Float? Let's see. From 761 to 761, no one has followed me on Float. So, come on, guys. I put the word out, and I put the thing in the chat there. It takes 2 seconds to sign up for float.app, flote.app. It's the easiest sign-up process ever. You just put in their username, password. That's it. Email. And the privacy policy is like the shortest I've ever seen. And you get on, and it's replacing Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Tumblr. You have live streams, all that kind of stuff. We got Reddit being replaced on there. They're coming out of it with all this stuff. They're still in beta, of course. And then on top of that, they are coming out with other solutions like Patreon, a Patreon alternative where you could pledge in cryptocurrency on float.app, flote.app. You can see your balance, you could see your transactions, you could receive, you could send. It started as a wallet and it turned into a social media app, and my friend Kingsley Edwards has put it together with help from brilliant coders, and they're working on being a true decentralized and social media site. 761 to 762, we got one more follower. Thank you to Chemo. I appreciate you following us. I got to be careful because the NSFW stuff on Float is still kind of iffy. It'll be based on whether you want to see it or not soon. But I just saw a whole bunch of boobs earlier on my homepage, which I think they're fixing right away. So I got to be careful on YouTube on a live stream from accidentally going to the homepage. But let's see BitChute here. So I'm gonna, at first we went from 385 to 386, and let's see now. 394. Well, thank you guys for joining us on BitChute. Really appreciate it. And that's, again, it's the alternatives. You can see I'm a little behind posting videos, but I'm catching up right away. It's just the upload rate is kind of iffy on Float, but or on BitChute, I should say. But we'll get there. As popular support reigns in for BitChute and Float, things will really start to change. Let's see. Followed on Float and BitChute. Thank you for all you do, Josh. Thank you, Chemo. Appreciate it. Miss Gender says, are you looking into the Vegas shooting from 2 years ago there? I'm always looking into the Vegas shooting. I live in Vegas, but it's like I always chalk it up to like Nightmare on Elm Street because all the adults know that something happened, but they keep it from everyone knows something in the little town. It's like a bigger version of that in Vegas. Everyone knows something. There's a lot of very few people in Las Vegas believe the official story behind the Vegas shooting. I'll tell you that much. And I have a whole lot of clues, and I've saved a whole lot of videos and backed them up on a bunch of different places from the night of the shooting that Facebook and YouTube deleted immediately from on the scene that are very important to the case. But I haven't actually put together a concerted report yet. Let's see. Stephen Cohn, all of your comments are being hidden automatically by YouTube. I'm unhiding that one. But I know of Oli Demagard's work. I just haven't watched much of any of it. I don't actually watch a whole lot of other people because I'm usually working on my own videos. Unfortunately, I never get to watch much of anything. Unfortunately, Ian Daniel says, just discovered your channel, sitting up late in Vietnam, enjoying your broadcast. I appreciate it, Ian. Thank you for joining us today. Always glad to reach people all over the world. We have now reached people in every single country in the world, and we couldn't appreciate it more. We're just very happy to see the reach spread far and wide. Obviously, 56 people out of 134,000 people says a little bit about shadow banning, but nonetheless, really appreciate everyone tuning in from all over the place. And I think our audience goes like this. In first place is the United States, second place Canada, third place Australia, fourth place India, fifth place is like Sri Lanka or something like that. I can't remember. It's weird. And then New Zealand and all that, and then Britain, Spain. But also because we're traveling to different places and reporting from different places around the world, it's also made a great deal of difference getting people that are locals on board watching our videos. We've also, I want to go to Indonesia in the near future. I want to go to Gunung Padang in Indonesia, and hopefully that'll bring our audience up in Indonesia a bit. But everywhere I go in the world, there's always people that watch us that are there, and it's pretty awesome. I don't couch surf as much, but it's nice to know that we've got viewers and supporters basically everywhere. Milan VS says, hey Josh, are you going to cover what's happened with China and Blizzard? Well, I'm going to cover China as I always do. I haven't gotten anything done on the recent story yet, but I know it's big. I wish I could cover everything. I've just been working really hard on all these videos I compiled in Turkey and Italy as well. And also I got to do videos on a daily basis with, John, and we got a video coming up with G. Edward Griffin that I'm interviewing him in less than an hour. So all that kind of stuff, it's pretty time consuming. But yeah, China is one of the worst tyrannical states in the world, and it's absolutely horrible what they do to people on free will, and technocratic super state with, their social credit system deciding if people say something bad about the government, they can't eat at certain restaurants, they can't fly on certain planes, or even if they can fly, they have a high-pitched beeping sound in their ear that makes them sick. I mean, it's just tyranny on crack. It's unbelievable what China does to its people, and then the censorship is over the top, and that is an example of a state in fear. So we shouldn't fear the state should fear us, and that's always one of the number one things I try to bring forward to people. But I'll try and get something done on that, and yeah, Blizzard taking China's side and censoring. It's ridiculous. Hollywood does it all the time. Let's see. We got part-time friend says, hello from Finland. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Milan VS says, China is a technological dystopia. Absolutely. Stephen Cohn says, do you think social credit is coming here? Absolutely. And it's already being laid out in Australia to a certain degree. And I think that's what Facebook is. Mark Zuckerberg worked with the Chinese on their social credit program and facial recognition. And what do you think Facebook is today? Building up all this information so you can have credit. Already the algorithm already decides certain credits. So if you are lower in the rank on credit, you don't actually get seen by people. It's already happening, and it's going to be used against people in the future, 100%. And it's another good reason why that delete Facebook hashtag has been trending, which is exactly why you should join us on float.app. But anyway, let's see. I want to bring it over here. From 762 to 764. Who do we got now? Sherbert Arrigo both of you, thank you. Appreciate you joining us on flote.app, flote.app. And let's see on BitChute. We're up another 3 to 397 subscribers. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys joining us on BitChute. And again, the link is in the description for those that are wondering, but I will copy and paste it for you guys to see. Again, here in the chat, to subscribe to us on BitChute, we have to go to these alternatives. Make sure to press like on this video if you haven't already. And again, we're going to have to get going soon. I got to interview G. Edward Griffin right away. But I appreciate you guys allowing me to warm up a bit here at Wham and get moving for that interview, because I've been tired, because I've been waking up super early. And then by the time I do these interviews, I'm already tired. So, I mean, it's good. Get my blood flowing. Hopefully I didn't wipe myself out too much. And Wake Up says hello from Vancouver, BC, Canada. Hello to you as well. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to some of you. Good evening, good middle of the night, whatever it might be. I don't know. We're all over the world. Stephen Cohn says, thanks, Josh. We really appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys always, as always. So make sure to press like if you haven't already. GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar, where we post subscriber-only content. And we have a whole bunch of crypto addresses, including this one. This is our Bitcoin address. And you guys can help and tip us through there. It makes a huge difference to us. As Stevie says, be sure you share Josh's videos as well. Absolutely. We got to catch on with the algorithm somehow. And make sure to check out my Karahan Tepe video. Which I really hope everyone checks out, because I put a lot of work into it. It's the first documentary on what I believe to be the most important archaeological site in modern history. I think it might actually blow Göbekli Tepe out of the park. So make sure to check out our video on Karahan Tepe. Again, on our YouTube channel. It's up to about 23,000 views. Let's keep it up, because that deserves more views, guys. People do videos from their computer of just a few images of Karahan Tepe from their home, and it gets, and with much less subscribers than us, and it gets like 50 to 100,000 views. And then I go there on the ground and in southern Turkey by Syria, and it doesn't get a whole lot of views. So help us out, guys. It's technically a documentary. We did a whole documentary breakdown of Karahan Tepe, Karahan Tepe, Tepe. Up on YouTube. Very interesting site. So anyway, and Wake Up, yeah, we are doing things on the Repo Madness. And I forget, I got questions here for Ed, just subject matters. There's so much going on in the news, so we're going to do a diverse subject matters with him. And also talk about the Red Pill Expo, the second one of 2019 in Mesquite, Nevada, coming up at the beginning of November. So make sure to check that out. Red Pill Expo. Red Pill Expo. A whole bunch of people, including... well, G. Edward Griffin's going to be there, of course. I'm going to be there. John Snyson, I believe, is going to be there. And then there's Eamon Bundy, and there's Dr. Tim Ball, the climatologist, who's debunking the climate hysteria. And then there's also, who else? Bix Weir is going to be there. I forget. There's a whole bunch of people. Just make sure to check it out. There's a whole bunch of interesting speakers at that event. I'm also going to be at the Litecoin Summit, where Ron Paul is going to be speaking, and Charlie Lee and all that kind of stuff. We're going to be at World CryptoCon 2020 or 2019, I should say. Don't know what year it is, apparently. And all that. So that's coming up right away in Las Vegas and in Mesquite, Nevada, as well as Anarchapulco 2020, where you could use promo code WHAM and save 10% on your tickets to the event. Again, all that in the description for the most part of this video. So you could save 10% on your tickets to Anarchapulco, one of the coolest events in the world, and also Anarcho Vegas, anarchovegas.com, or go to Eventbrite as well. But go to anarchovegas.com, anarchovegas.com. Don't put www in there. There's some issue with that. For some reason, it's redirecting and not showing people the actual site. But anarchovegas.com, put it into your URL on another tab and go there. And you could use promo code WHAM to save 10% on your tickets to that as well, which is going to be another amazing event. So I really cannot wait for that. There's also Crypto Vegas, side by side with Anarcho Vegas, and that all is at the same time right after Freedom Fest in Las Vegas. So there's another big reason to be in Las Vegas. A lot's happening in the anarchist and crypto movement in Las Vegas now more than ever, and it's going to be amazing, guys. So again, check out all those links in flote.app, flote.app. Really appreciate all of your help, guys, and make sure to go and follow on Float. Keemo at Keemo on float.app. Make sure to follow Errigo, ERRIGO on float.app, and make sure to follow Sherbert, SHERBERT on float.app as well. I almost spilled my coffee there. And obviously Angel Wings Holistics, who is here in the chat as well. At ANGELWINGS on float.app. And of course myself at Josh Sigurdson on float.app. So make sure to check us out there. It means a great deal to us to see the support, and BitChute as well. We're up to 399 subscribers. Get us to 400, guys. We appreciate everyone watching us. And again, all means a lot to us. You guys are awesome. And until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.